All right, so we've been doing, haven't been keeping up, but I got some more pavers here, and so we have the pavers on the deck. Um, I need about 20 more, but it's getting there. It's definitely getting there. I like the way it wraps around the steps here. Remember we told you that we put the other light over there. We put the security light up here, so it actually illuminates the side of the house a lot better. So I can actually see in the door here and have some light. And also when I'm cooking on the grill, bam, I got some light over here for now. And I have a patio that I can cook on as opposed to being in the mud. I've got to go over to my storage space and grab something, and I'll be back. Well, good morning, good people. Mark Holmes here at the Red Brick House. It's early, and I'm going to be leaving here. It's before 6 a.m. making coffee, and we've been working hard on the place. We've got JMU's homecoming starts tomorrow evening. I've got to actually drive back up home, do a ceiling grid and some tile, swing by my parents' house and pick up a big sub, and then come on back down here. So it's going to be fun. We've got about 5 hours of driving, but I tell you, we've been doing a lot of the little stuff here on the house, and it's really come a long ways. You'll remember last week we ended up replastering this wall over here. It's actually looking really good. It's solid as a rock. I went through and I just kind of caulked the edge right here just to kind of finish out and caulking the corners. It's the smaller details that really make the difference in the place. So going through, we used a crown molding caulk to go on there, which is flexible, which should hopefully get it together. This house has a lot of little things that make you wonder. This spot of the ceiling right here was definitely cut out, so we don't know if this was like a stairway to go upstairs or something like that, but for whatever reason it was cut and this was added, and you can tell that it's different size pieces, so those weren't cut out, gotten into, and then brought back. We've repainted the stairs and stuff like that. I've got pieces of wood, because there's a little piece of wood that goes like on here. We'll put those on when I come back. But doing little things, the doors right here, it's hard to see with the light. Right here you can see where the flooring is messed up. So what we did was we made some of the base molding and painted it the same color as the door frame. And we've got a piece of quarter round that we'll put across here as well, which will help to fill that in so you don't see that part in there so much. I'm going to sand this out, the threshold, and varnish it. I'll have to leave the door open when we do, but that'll help make this look real good. And I need to do the same thing, you know, from construction and everything else. There's a little paint and stuff on here. So we'll lightly sand this and put a coat of varnish on there, and that'll make that look really, really good. But for the most part, when you look through here, you see the crown molding, you see the walls, you know, pretty much white right now. We do have a lime wash mix, which is basically taking a gallon of lime putty, adding 4 gallons of water to it, and you end up putting the colorant into it. You mix that up. You're going to wet the walls down ahead of time like we do when we're plastering, and basically wash that right on over. And that allows, see, what you have to understand is people will paint the plaster, but ultimately doing that is actually messing up, because what has to happen when you have the brick like this is that soft brick is going to be absorbing the moisture, so there's actually a moisture exchange. Now the lime itself is very dry, but when you do the lime plastering, basically you're making the lime powder go back to stone. So this is like a rock finish that's literally on the walls. It is solid, and if you've seen this place from before, if you remember, this section of the floor was raised way up because of when they did the brickwork. We couldn't get up underneath of here, so we had to cut the floor ourselves right here, take the floor up, reframe it. We dug a trench so that way our water line could come through, and all of those bricks were showing, and kind of some of them were crumbling, so we had to replace some of them. But now that we put that plaster on there, that has made that strong. Now the problem is, the bricks, when they get wet, are going to absorb moisture and, you know, let it release and stuff. And if it can't have that exchange, then the bricks crumble. So this is where it will be dry. You'll never see mold growing on lime plastered walls because it literally absorbs all the moisture. So it's going to keep the house, you know, relatively dry in the air and stuff. And it's going to continue to do that. As long as it can do that, the bricks will be able to do what they're supposed to do. They'll get wet, they'll dry out and things, and it will continue to last. So I feel great about how this space looks. It's hard to believe that this is actually the same space. Having the fireplace in here, I do need to spackle up a little bit, but if I don't get it done before we have company, it's okay. Now take a look. This is a nail that we took out of a couple of studs. It's like a freaking railroad spike. To think that that nail was handmade by a blacksmith is just crazy. So that's where we are. We ended up painting the ceiling in here yesterday. We ended up painting the ceiling again to make sure that it was done well. My wife is working on putting everything back together, but it's pretty much now a kitchen. Got my base molding in here. Got to finish cleaning up, but the base moldings and things, those are things that really begin to make it look more finished. I couldn't be prouder of the way this kitchen has come out with the cabinetry and everything, the functionality of it. It is just great. And so this weekend, I'll really be putting it to use for game day. And this is actually, hold on. And so down here, this is actually oak plywood that I use for the back of the cabinets because I didn't have any antique hard pine plywood for that. But with the chairs and stuff that go there, it'll be fine to, you know, it blends in color-wise pretty good. And then the chairs, of course, sit there. So that makes that look a whole lot better. But overall, oh, and we made another little change by accident. So when I was cutting the countertop backsplash, the TV had been sitting up here. I set it in the window, leaned back, and it fell over, and the feet broke on it. I was like, oh crap, we thought we broke a TV. So we had to take the feet off. Before it was too tall to sit underneath the cabinets, but with the feet off of it, it actually fits in the corner real well. What I'm going to do is I am going to get some rubber feet to raise it up just a little bit to make sure it's off of the counter. But tucked in the corner there is much better, gives us more counter space to work with and stuff in here. So Tracy will end up getting the shelves and the plants and stuff put back in, and I think I'm going to try and take some of the plastic 1x3s, rip it down in half, and make like a valance to go over the shades and make that look a little bit better. And of course, get the hinges for the door. So that's what we've got so far, and I'm gonna hit the road.